Okay, so why is this not showing? Another line. Hmm. Hmm. I don't know what's going on anymore. Strange. Okay. Yeah. So this is hello people who are watching this video. Um, it's really late at night. I'm not sure what I'm doing. I wanted to talk a little bit about the comparison. I wanted to compare the Xperia 1 Mark 5 and Xperia 1 Mark 7, and these are the two phones side by side. If you wanted to see the difference between the colors, this is the difference, kind of. The 1 Mark 5 is just slightly deeper in shade and kind of, leaning more towards yellow, kind of like a yellow green. What am I saying? You know what I mean. It has, it's more yellow than it is on the spectrum, than it is leaning towards a bluish green. And that's the color difference. And the size difference, you probably already know. I've got both of the original cases with me. Why does this thing keep opening? Okay, so this is one thing that I don't understand, is that happens a lot with this 1 Mark 5. It tends to, the phone, after I lock it, right, it tends to just turn on by itself again. I'm not sure what's going on there, but yeah. So excuse my very frazzled thoughts. I'm not altogether there today, or most days these days. I'm attributing it to just possibly long COVID and depression. Not sure. Doesn't matter. Okay, let's just go back to the phones. So you can see the difference in size. The 1 Mark 7, right? Yeah. Jesus. Is wider. And also a teeny tiny bit shorter. And in terms of width, I think, I don't know, it might be a bit thicker. As in this way around. So yeah, those are the two screens. And the 1 Mark 7 definitely has a brighter screen. It's capable of being brighter. It's like around 1,500. Don't quote me on that. Nits, and this one is like 900 something. So yeah. Okay. In terms of the accessories and stuff, I just wanted to briefly go through stuff that I've noticed, at least the stuff that I use with that I used from the 1 Mark 5. So I have, okay, first difference is the cases. As you can see, this one, the newer phone, has this, what are these things called? Like a attachment possibility, something you can attach a strap to, right? And this one doesn't have it, which is really handy, if in case you drop it. And okay, I gotta be honest, so far I feel like the weight distribution, at least in my hands, for the 1 Mark 7 feels better in terms of, you know, handling it. Maybe it's because the screen, the top of the screen is not so high up, and just maybe because it's a bit broader, it just feels like more evenly distributed on my hands. This one, I've dropped it a few times. Okay, I replaced the screen, so that's why it looks quite new, but the first day I replaced the screen, I already dropped it once, and there's like so notorious for the, there it is, focus, for heaven's sake, focus, there we go, nope, yes, nope, there we go. So that is a ding on that side and another tiny ding on the other side, if you can see that. There we go. Oh, there we go. So yeah, and if you do drop it, especially if you have like the green or the black, you're going to see the white metal underneath. It's, the painted coloring is not so I guess thick, if you want to call it that. So here we go. This is, sorry, these are the color, this is the color difference of the phone itself without the case. There we go. One Mark V and one Mark VII. You can definitely see the difference there. Taller and thinner one Mark V. A bit of a darker shade as well. And you can also see that the camera lenses are a little bit smaller. Yeah. Okay. So what else did I want to talk about? All right. Yeah, the accessories. So I have this, which is the vlogging kit, vlog monitor, something or other. There's a whole name to it. XQZ-IV01, I think. And so this one is a handy thing to use with the One Mark V. I think it's also compatible with the Pro 1, the One Mark 4. I'm not sure about the One Mark 6. That's the One Mark 6. I've heard different things about whether it's compatible or not. So I cannot confirm. If you have the One Mark 6 and you use it, you've tried it with this vlogging camera monitor, just write in the comments if it's compatible or not. I don't know. Okay, so the purpose of this is so that you can attach it to the back of your phone, like so. Whoops. Right? So it has this, I haven't said, it has this phone holder thing and a little horse, is this, what, shoe mount, coal mount, something, I can't remember the name of it. And it also has a magnetic back so that you can attach this small monitor to it. And if you use, okay, I don't have the USB thingy with me right now. Do I? USB-C. Oh, I actually do. Actually, come. So if you attach it, in the right way, pardon, right? Yeah, okay, so you get this little notification on the photography app and the videography app, and it can mirror display. It can give you a preview of what's happening. Come here. on the back of using the back camera, right? So if you're doing a vlog and you want to use the back camera, you can just do like this, and you can actually see what's happening on the monitor. You're doing a vlog, you're doing a live stream. I've done that many times with this in terms of, you know, using it for live streaming. But unfortunately, this does not work with the One Mark 7. I can, oh, here we go. So it's such a shame because this would have been so useful. I mean, if you actually do use that function of like a live stream or like a video, or you just want to take selfies with it, which is a little bit extra, but who knows. Yeah, I connected it and there's nothing showing up. The monitor is blank, you can't see anything, so it's just not compatible, which is such a bummer. And I don't know if that's even possible, or if it's in the works. If Sony manages to update the software so that it can be supported, that would be great. Alternatively, if someone is wants to put in the time to port the software, I don't know if how simple that is, like port the software from the One Mark 5 to the One Mark 7 and allow the monitor to be used, that would be great. Because, you know, for me, I think what the hell, I think it has more to do with software than anything else. Yeah, it's just, it doesn't work with it, and that is such a shame. So that's one thing that was the biggest disappointment in my opinion. Other small details for anyone that likes to do photography and stuff. There is this thing called Pow Rig. I've seen people use this with their One Mark 5 phones, One Mark 4, different phones. I think it's originally marketed as compatible specifically with the Galaxy S23 Ultra phones. So if you don't know what this is, it's basically a filter mount. If you have professional like DSLRs or non-DSLR cameras, you know these are filters that you can attach to the front of your camera. Anyway, this one is an ND filter, non-density filter from Earth. I use this a lot. And this is the attachment that you know, you can screw on the filters, and then if you have a magnetic, well, no, if you have a magnetic, it comes like this. There's a magnet right here that you can attach to any phone case or the phone itself, and then what you do is you just put this on like that, and then you have the ND filter ready to go for any of your lenses, right? So for the One Mark 5, it wasn't an issue even with what's this called, cases not made by Sony. Even if it had a little bit of a bump, because the bump is actually not that large, and this was how it would fit onto a case. With the One Mark 7, it's a little bit difficult if you have a case that has like a big bump, because the dimensions of the window, I guess you would call it, the window is kind of smaller. So I had to kind of shave down the bump here in order to get it to fit on a like a third party case. That was the word I was looking for. But I managed to do it. I like to fiddle around with my cases and whatever. As you can see, I put a skin on it, and so it looks more interesting than just a very plain case. Doesn't matter. Anyway, so that is with like a third party case that has an extra lip around the camera island. And then if you use it on the like the Sony original case thing, it's fine. You can adjust it, put the magnet there, and it fits the I've tried it. It fits the case just fine. It is a textured back, and how you mount the magnet onto the case is with a sticker, strong sticker. I don't know if the original sticker that it comes with would be, you know, strong enough to hold on a textured back because it is quite thin. But I used the thicker mounting tape, double-sided mounting tape, and that worked fine. I put the magnet onto the original case, and I tested it with the filter mount, and it was all fine. Put the filter on it, used it, it was fine. So if you want a more sleek, clean type of approach to it, use the original case and put this on, and then it's a very sleek look. I think I might just try to get the black original case and then put the filter mount onto that. That would look really nice because it's black and black. Yeah, I have a problem with design. No, not design. What? Aesthetics and stuff of different things. Okay. So that is another accessory that I've been testing out, you know, just seeing if everything's kind of forwards compatible with the One Mark V. So for the One Mark 7, not One Mark 5, come on. So with the One Mark 5, I have been using this moment lens, and I first heard of that, the moment lens from Chi-Bi-chan. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. I'm really sorry if I pronounced it terribly wrong. Anyway, so Moment doesn't make cases for the Sony Xperia line. It mostly makes cases for Apple. They have made cases for Samsung, but it doesn't seem like it's very consistently supported. And they've also made cases for Google. So if you are thinking about getting the Moment lens, just know that, you know, the cases aren't supported there. So their solution for phones that are not do not have cases available is this kind of screw-on attachment thing where you can, oh, this is such a fiddly adjustment thing, especially for the One Mark 5. It doesn't seem to grip on as well as I'd like it to. Okay, I've got it now. You just have to fiddle around with it. So I personally made a case or an attachment myself. I can link the video in the description if you're interested in more DIY stuff from me. So this is how it attached. This is the lens, and this is a 58mm lens, and it basically kind of, you know, it zooms in on the subject. If you use the main camera lens, which is the 24mm, I'm sorry if none of the things I'm saying make any sense, but hopefully you know what I mean. Anyway, so it there we go. So it zooms into the subject that you're taking a picture of, and honestly it looks really nice. The bokeh is, well, it's not an AI bokeh, it's a physical bokeh. I don't know what I'm saying, but I assume you get what I mean. If you're into photography, that you'll get what I mean. Yeah, and I really like this lens. I used it with the One Mark V so many times, and I always enjoy using it, right? So yeah, I just wanted to test it out with the, let me see if it actually works with the ultra wide lens, because I don't actually know if it does. Hold on, let me see. Oh, no, okay. So yeah, you're gonna get a what? How do you pronounce it? Vignette? Vig, ving. I don't know how to pronounce that word. You know what I mean? Like this kind of like. Oh, this is not good. But the cut off at the edges, if you use it on the ultra wide, and you also will have it on the One Mark 7's ultra wide lens. The 24mm one, there's no real issue. I really want to know how to pronounce that word, but I'll have to figure that out later. Anyway, this, how you say, this attachment works better, in my opinion, on the One Mark 7, possibly because the what is this called? The camera bump is slightly wider, so it has more to stabilize itself on, as opposed to the One Mark 5, which has a smaller smaller camera bump, and the, you know, it just doesn't seem to stabilize very well. And if you can see, let me just get that on there. Give me a second. There we go. So this is what it looks like. Oh, sorry. This is what it looks like on the One Mark 7. I may make a special case for it where I don't actually have to use this attachment, or I might just only use the attachment. In this sense, it feels more stable and it doesn't get in the way as much, in my opinion anyway. So this is like, the only thing that it's obscuring is the histogram. Is it called the histogram? I think it's called the histogram. And yeah, I've used it with this lens and it's fine. Everything's fine with the 24mm. I have to play around with it a little bit. I will show you some shots that I took with the moment lens attachment. And of course, with the moment lens, there's also a filter attachment, a 67mm. I think that's what it's called. The filter that you use, if you use filters, non-density filter, CPL filter, I forgot what's that, something polarizing, I can't remember the name. And yeah, it becomes kind of a little bit hefty, but it's fun to play around with it. Okay, so that is it for the accessories. I've been yammering on about the accessories for a while. So let's get into the actual pictures that I've taken, and let's talk about the differences that I've seen. Okay, to be fair, I tried my best to like have everything on an equal playing field, having them both on auto mode in terms of like shutter speed, ISO, white balance, but I believe there were some times when I would not be I would not be aware that I've actually tweaked the settings a little bit. And and at some point I was just like, well, I just want to try to take the best picture I can with the with the phones, and just see like how they compare against each other. So it's not terribly scientific. I tried my best to put things on auto and let them be. But sometimes I might have done something weird with it. Okay, I will stop yammering on and just show you the picture. So there I am. Can I put myself like really small somewhere? Okay, I'm just gonna put myself like on the top, right? And then like switch my face in and out somewhere. Does this work? Maybe this works. Okay, so here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. So this is the first example that I have for you. It's a picture of plants. Yeah, so this is the 1 Mark 5, 1 Mark 7. You can see the labels clearly down here. Honestly, for this picture, I don't see that big of a difference. But someone did point out on Reddit that with the 1 Mark V, something about like this area has a little bit more of a magenta cast by this red object over here, and the 1 Mark 7 does not. And according to that person, it was based on the, I don't know how the 1 Mark 5 was built or something. Let me just quickly pull out that comment so I don't talk out of my bottom. Okay. All right. So color. It seems they fixed the issue of color cast on surfaces, which is something Quad Bayer is notorious for. 1 Mark 5 casted color on neutral surfaces depending on the subject next to the surface, unlike the 1 Mark 4. He was talking about like different models of the Xperia 1 line. Yeah, your indoor image with plant shows magenta being casted on the wall because of the deep red decorative lamp thing in the background. But magenta is only casted near the object, while rest of the wall is cool in color with the 1 Mark 7. Yeah. Okay, so that makes sense. All right. So that is one thing that someone noticed that I did not notice. Honestly, I found both images looking very similar, and yeah, I really had I did not pick up on this magenta cast on the wall, and I probably wouldn't have even. I probably I don't actually care that much about it, but yeah, it's just good to have that piece of information. Let's move to the next image. We've got 2 dogs. My dog Kaya. Our dog Kaya, excuse me, not my dog. So yeah, I believe this was all on auto mode for the photography photo pro app, something on the 1 Mark 5. I didn't put it to basic. I just had everything set to auto, I believe. Yeah, it was like this setting, I think. And for the 1 Mark 7, I think I also tried to put everything to auto. Again, I can't be 100% sure. I can pull up the information for you just so that you know exactly like what the deal is for both of them. So let's see. File info. Is that? I hope it's showing up on the right. So this one, file info. So we've got right, 6 point. Oh, okay, so this one would be the 48 millimeter, I think. That's when it's zoomed in, artificially zoomed in, artificially, software zooming in thing. Anyway, okay, so here we have an ISO of 250. Is it showing? Is it showing on it? Yes, it is. ISO of 250 here and ISO of 800 here. Exposure time 1/15, 1/60. So I don't know if that. I'm pretty sure that I put that on auto mode. I double checked when I was taking the dog pictures. So I don't know why there is that difference there, but there is that difference there. So we have the dog. I feel like somehow, actually I don't know. I feel like this particular image is leaning a little bit more red or magenta, and this one has more of a cyan, kind of leaning more towards cyan. That's just what I think. I don't know if, I think I like this picture a little bit better. Let's see, I don't know. It's really hard to say. I feel like in the background, the details are a lot smoother. Apologies for the messy kitchen. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm not apologizing for my messy kitchen. It's a messy kitchen. It's a kitchen. I live here. That's how things go when you live somewhere. But yeah, I don't know. It just seems a little bit smoother. You know, the blur is a little bit smoother. Nah. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. That's all I can say about this image. I think just generally I like this just a tiny bit better. But hey, I am just one person, and also my technical knowledge is not terribly in, like, what is that called? I don't have a lot of technical knowledge about camera stuff and analyzing pictures. I just look at stuff, and if it looks nice, that's how it goes. If I like the image better, then I like the image better. I don't know what else to say. Okay, so again, yeah, somehow I feel like there's a little bit more contrast here, which appeals to me slightly more, and it also doesn't look that over processed. That's me. That's what I think. Okay, here we have another picture that I took, and yeah, I think the biggest difference for these two pictures is that here there's a little bit more of, how do you pronounce it? Vignette? Is it vignette? Vignette? Give me a second. Let me Google this before I drive myself crazy trying to figure out how to pronounce things. Vignette. Okay. The G is silent, which is surprising. But yeah. So there's more of a vignette on the 1 Mark V image, and yeah, it generally. I don't see that much of a difference between both images. They all kind of seem quite even. Whoopsie daisy. So, give me a second. Sorry about that. So we've got some difference in the, what is this called? The shutter speed, right? Shutter speed, this one was a little bit faster, but hey, yeah. So, I don't see a ton of difference between these two pictures, to be honest. Except for the vignette, like I mentioned before. Someone mentioned in a chat group that the 1 Mark 7 seems to have more dynamic range. So, wait, hold on. Let me see if I know what that even means. I'm assuming it just means that there's more colors on the spectrum that the phone can capture, the camera can capture. And I guess this image is a little bit flatter in that sense. Just a tiny bit. It's not too bad, honestly. Like, I'm not mad at the 1 Mark 5 at all. Okay, we're moving on to this one. Now this one, I manually adjusted for the white balance, and I did a terrible job. It was a hot day in the garden, and I was flustered trying to get pictures. But anyway, here's the images. Here is definitely I leaned it too much on the blue spectrum. Moved it to far blue. But let's just see just generally what we can find in the picture. Yeah, this one looks sharper. You can definitely tell. Yeah, maybe the focus was a little bit off because it seems like very focused on this and here. And this was what I wanted in focus, the flowers themselves. Yeah, I mean, it did a good job. Here's focus, here's focus. This one here's focus, this one here's not so focused. Yeah. There we go. I guess for the detailing, this went blurry. This is very in focus, so yeah. There we go. That's one of the comparisons. I don't know if anyone is commenting on my video. Let's see. Yeah, there's no chat going on, but it's fine. Just wanted to make sure that I'm not missing any comments. But yeah. Okay, so let's go to the next picture. This one, again, I feel like this is a little bit more defined, but honestly I prefer the look of the 1 Mark 5 in this particular picture. And I don't think it's the color balance that's doing it for me, or that's skewing my, how you say, opinion. I just feel like maybe this one is a little bit too sharp or in focus. The edges are a bit too sharp. I don't know. There's, again, if you talk to someone else, like someone that's really into photography, they might say that I'm completely talking rubbish, or that, yeah. But I personally like the 1 Mark 5 picture better. Yeah, we've also got like different settings on the ISO and so on. Okay, here in this picture, I prefer this picture better. I don't know. Did this go with a bokeh? I'm confused now. Okay, I might have taken this picture with the moment lens because it doesn't like it has a lot like a really blurry background, and I think this one was just maybe a zoomed in picture. So, okay, let's not compare these two pictures because I don't think they were done on even playing field. Okay, then here we've got two pictures. I feel like this one is a little bit overexposed. Yeah, I don't like this particular picture. I think the one Mark V did a better job in this one. But it could also just be because like I was going on manual and I was flustered and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I had only had the one Mark VII for like a day, so anyway, I definitely prefer the picture on the one Mark V in comparison to these two. Yeah, this is way too bright. I think. I mean the surrounding. I think this one's a lot more. Oh, I could have also used the moment lens on this one, but I'm not sure. Okay, I'm really not doing a good like job comparing both. Okay, now here we have a lot of the. This is all like creative control that I had. I had the moment lens going. I put the non-density filter, and I used the creative filter, which is which was included in the software. So like the creative filter, you can have a variation of different kinds. Let's see, what are they called again? Hold up, let me just double check. Yep, so you can have the creative looks that Sony gives you. So there's standard. Oops. Am I visible? I am here. Okay. So there's standard, there's what is this? NT. I forgot what does it stand for. So annoying because the one Mark V gives you the exact name and what it's supposed to mean. Neutral. Duh. Neutral. Right? Then this one's vivid. Then we have FL, which was film. Supposed to be better for skies and nature shots. IN. What is IN? Instant. It was called instant. The creative look is instant. Reduces contrast and saturation for a matte look. Right? And SH, which is, what the heck is SH? Soft high key. Now this is my least favorite setting. Anyway, I usually use film and instant for the creative looks. So anyway, let's go back to the pictures because I am yapping too much. Okay, so there I am. Maybe make me smaller. Okay, so these two I did use like a whole bunch of different things to so it's definitely not on auto. Like the settings were all just up to me, what I thought looked good in the viewfinder, and I just took the picture that way. So here we go. This one's the one Mark V, this one's the one Mark VII. Yeah, this one has definitely a cooler tone and everything, and this one is warmer. And so let's just look at the details. Again, let me make it clear, I used the moment lens with a non-density filter with these pictures. So there was a lot more like creative control that I was taking over, and it's not comparing perfectly the two pictures. So yeah, here we have a little bit more blur in the detailing. It could also be because was I had the non-density filter set higher in terms of whatchamacallit. I don't know. Like I made the image a little bit darker, or as in I let less light through, so that could also be the reason for the blurriness on this picture. Yeah. Generally, this is, I don't know, I like both pictures, to be honest. I mean, I like the vibes of both pictures. It just depends on the mood, right? So here we go. Let's go to the next picture. This one is, wait, let me see if I can get one. Okay. So these are two pictures which are a lot more similar. I can see here the focus is a lot, as in this, the focus on the flowers is a lot sharper. But again, I like both pictures. Just depends on my vibe, how I feel. I don't know. I like both pictures. They're really nice, in my opinion. Um, yeah. So, okay. So these are another set of the same subject. I guess this one I feel like there's a little bit more contrast. Yeah, I kind of prefer this one a little bit more. But again, for the 1 Mark 5, I'm not mad at it. It's still very pretty, in my opinion. Anyway. Look at that. My exposure, I put down the exposure a little bit. So. Oh, here's another. Oh, okay. Here's another flower picture. Okay. Why do I have so many flower pictures? Okay. So here are another set of pictures with Kaya babyhood. And this one, I think I made it a little bit darker. Yeah. And then here, again, I think I was using the film creative look thing. The creative look with the film setting. And I find this is a little bit too contrasty. The highlights a bit too blown out. I actually prefer the look of the one on the 1 Mark 5. Yeah. I feel like there's just a little bit softer and more pleasing in my opinion. Here, the coloring on Kaya is kind of similar here, but the background is very dark. And the background here is not as dark. You can see some, I don't know what this thing is called. I guess the effect from the moment lens that I was using. So yeah, here we also have it. Yeah. Okay, let's go. Here we have a picture of another shot. Now this one is a lot, like, there's a lot more difference in these two images. The greens are so much brighter, and yeah, this one just feels a lot flatter, but I still like the effect of this. And honestly, in some situations, I would prefer kind of like more of this toned down um, appearance, if that makes any sense to anyone. I don't know. So, yeah. But there's also like this also does look nice. And in anyway, I usually do post edits. I suppose what I'm trying to say is both cameras are good. One one does not seem to like blow the other one out of the water, in my opinion, at least. Okay, and then here we have two other pictures. Um, yeah, I think this one, in this particular picture, in like this is in really bright light, I think. I just feel like the contrast is a lot better in this picture and seems to be more, I don't know. It doesn't seem as flat as this one does. But again, like I said, both are nice cameras. Um, yeah. And then this one, I feel that was the biggest difference. I'm not sure. Maybe um, the sun decided to be a bit darker on this one, or I don't know what the difference is in terms of. So let's see. The ISO kind of shutter speed, ISO kind of the same. This one was a little bit more zoomed in. Mm, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's a lot more blurry here, I guess. Less light in this area. Goodness gracious me. Aesthetically, I personally prefer this one. Somehow I like the darker contrast. I don't know, sorry, at this point I'm not sure like how well I'm comparing the cameras because I don't have a lot of technical knowledge. I just like I just know what looks nice to my eyes, and I prefer this one just a little bit more. Okay, here is the telephoto. Whoopsie daisy. No, no. Okay, here's the telephoto comparison. This was zoomed in all the way. I think. Was it 85 millimeters, right? And I think, yeah, definitely it was both on auto, and I think the 1 Mark 5, 1 Mark 7 just does a much better job in the telephoto department. The telephoto one here, I don't know, it just looks kind of terrible. Everything's kind of just blurry and weird. The detailing is weird. Yeah, I think it's just a lot sharper on this one. It's not fabulous, but it looks more legible in my opinion. And I've seen this repeated in other kind of like telephoto shots. Okay, here was my attempt at trying bokeh, like the bokeh mode, but I think I just did it wrong because it doesn't look like there's any bokeh here. Um, and this one was the bokeh mode. I think I'll show you a couple more shots with bokeh mode where I was actually actively trying to make sure that everything was correctly equal. Um, anyway, the bokeh is quite strong on this one. Okay, here is the another like kind of telephoto shot. This is a pine cone. I know it looks a little bit off, strange, this image, but it was just something that I had details that I could kind of zoom into. And yeah, I think the Xperia 1 Mark 7 really does a much better job in terms of using the telephoto lens. Here it just looks like a much better picture. The detailing on the soil and the grass and everything. This one just kind of looks sad and very zoomed in. I don't know. Like a picture and you really zoomed it in, and then you've got all these. Nothing's really clear. It's kind of, yeah. So here's another picture. This one's definitely more appealing in my opinion. And I'm not entirely sure what the, because I checked that the auto white, it was the, excuse me, what am I saying? The white balance was set to auto on both of them, but just somehow this one is a lot warmer and it just looks nicer in my opinion. Yeah. But then again, when we look at the shutter speed, this one is like 4,000 and this one's 1,600. ISO 400 here, ISO 160 here. So don't really know what's going on with that. But the 1 Mark 7 looks like it's doing a better job in my opinion. So yeah, okay, here we have another bokeh mode. Ooh, excuse me. Now this one is of the same subject, blah blah blah. Yeah, I set it to kind of like a similar intensity for the bokeh, and honestly it looks quite nice, both of them, in my opinion. They both look quite nice. But okay, one thing about the bokeh mode on the 1 Mark 5 is that every time I have it in the viewfinder before I actually take the picture, anything that I try to focus on, the edges always look very distorted and blurry in the viewfinder. But after I take the picture, it kind of settles itself, and as you can see here, like the edges are not terribly blurry. Maybe here a little bit, but other than that, everything, the thing that I was actually trying to focus on looks fine. But in the viewfinder, this edge was completely distorted. This edge was completely distorted before I took the picture. So it's very confusing because in real time, the processing of the bokeh mode does not seem to be accurate in a sense. And so when you actually take the picture, you're not really sure what you're gonna get, so you probably just have to take a whole bunch just to see what you will get. Anyway, yeah, in this sense, in this particular picture, like the final result, it looks fine. It looks, I think both of them look quite good. Both of them look quite good. Maybe, yeah, no, I'll just say both of them look quite good. Let's just leave it at that. Now this one is the front facing camera with bokeh mode, and this is like the 1 Mark 7 just excels so much better. Like I feel like the colors are a lot more even and everything. Even, what am I saying? The colors are a lot more pleasing. This one just, I don't know, looks a little bit washed out. And generally, just like the front facing camera with the bokeh mode, not that I use the front facing camera a lot, it just looks so much better. But let's just leave it at that. So, okay, now here we go with some video comparisons. Let me just get back to the video comparisons. So I think this one had like ultra stabilization and this one didn't. They're not the exact same video, so don't expect it to look exactly the same. It's just me taking a video in, yeah. So this one, for the 1 Mark 5, it looks like, I don't know, the saturation's really high. This one seems a lot more realistic. I don't know. Maybe for people, like capturing the skin tone of people, it looks better. But the greenery and the sky, just, it looks very oversaturated. Yeah. I have to reserve judgment for the videos because I I haven't actually played around with that setting too much. But here we see me trying to zoom in. Yeah. I don't know if there's a huge difference in the video quality. I'm trying to look at them both and see if there is, but they seem similar to me. Like moving into the shade when the light is against the subject. When the light shines onto the subject, the color reproduction looks quite nice. But if you're shooting against direct sunlight and the subject is um like silhouetted, I think it kind of looks just washed out, which makes sense with, like, okay, the Ivy looks really good. Ivy's this red dog right here. Ivy looks really good here. Let's see. Can I back it up? Ah. Oh no, this is not. Where's the thing where I can like adjust the settings? Come on. Ah, there we go. Okay, sorry. Apologies for the technical difficulties, but yeah, okay, see. Ivy looks good here. Like, she looks good here. But when she's kind of like going into this area. She looks a little bit washed out. But I assume that's the case for most cameras, I suppose. Unless you have an ND filter attached, which I didn't have at that point. It was just the raw camera. And then here we have some zooming in. Let's see. Yeah, I can't really see a lot. This is me zooming in. Cry baby hund. Yeah, well, okay. So that ends my very non-scientific type of comparison. But there we go. We've got some differences. Those are the differences that I can see. Just let me know what you think in the comments, because yeah, you might definitely notice stuff that I didn't and I haven't thought of. In general, I think I don't really have a good conclusion for this. I know that the telephoto seems to excel better on the 1 Mark 7. Bokeh mode seems to, at least in the viewfinder, it seems to be easier to shoot with on the 1 Mark 7, because in real time the bokeh mode looks more consistent. Well, it seems to be blur out the edges quite a bit on the 1 Mark 5. Generally it seems that the 1 Mark 7 has a better, the images are not as flat, but you probably could fiddle with that using the creative settings. For instance, on the 1 Mark 5, using the vivid creative look, which bumps up the saturation for things. But yeah, maybe I'll do a few more comparison pictures to see if I can get the 1 Mark 5 to, I guess, replicate the effect of the 1 Mark 7 just simply by using the software. For instance, the Creative Look software, where I'm using the vivid setting or something like this. But yeah, I guess this is the end of the video for me, and I hope you found this somewhat interesting. Wasn't terribly scientific, but yeah, thanks for watching, and ciao for now.